Hello, welcome to this webinar called Blockchain, How It Could Transform Business. My name is David Riley. I'm delighted to speak to you about this subject, which I feel very passionate about. So it will last 30 minutes. I will add an email if you do have any questions afterwards, but it's really designed as a simple overview of the concepts and the features of blockchain, and to give you a kind of understanding of why I believe this technology has incredibly unique and powerful features that could transform not just financial services, of which it is most clearly associated with, but a multitude of different businesses. And what I'm really aiming to do in this webinar is to explain it simply. If you can't explain it simply, you don't really understand it well enough. So hopefully this will give you a simple overview of how it can help. So the first few slides, I just want to explain exactly what blockchain is before we delve into some of the unique features. And before I do that, I just want to give you a kind of my thoughts on the digital revolution that we are currently going through right now. So there's no doubt that the digital revolution has enabled amazing innovations and transformations. If we think about the incredible ability to communicate globally in real time across the world through the World Wide Web, this has been incredible in terms of the movement and the depth of information across the world instantly through our mobile devices. We have amazing innovations like social media enabling a kind of conversation type interface across numerous platforms. We have mobile community, big data, we have the cloud. So all these innovations have combined to create amazing, wonderful developments in virtually every aspect of our life, and this in the UK government has set out digital transformation as a key part of the so if you go into the gov.com website, you'll read their commitment to digital for the next 3 years. So there's no doubt that digital itself has been an incredible platform, but it's also in a sense not really changed the way in which business has been done for many, many years. And what I hope to do in this webinar is really to explain why blockchain, I believe, is the next phase of how transformation could happen and will, in my belief, happen in terms of the way in which we do business and the way in which we can use digital and the internet to transfer value across multiple different valuable assets. So a quick history of blockchain. Often blockchain is kind of confused with Bitcoin, and they are closely associated. So blockchain is the brainchild of a person or group of people called, under the pseudonym, Satoshi Nakamoto, whose identity is still subject to a lot of speculation. But in a sense, he embodies a group of people who created Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency, an online currency, and underpinning Bitcoin was this amazing IT platform called blockchain, which is quite separate from what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is really a cryptocurrency, and there are hundreds of cryptocurrencies. Obviously that's emerged as being the primary one, and part of that reason is the underlying platform technology called blockchain. And like a lot of inventions, a lot of the creators obviously didn't realize that this unique platform could be used in multiple different ways, which I'm going to talk about now. So what is blockchain? Well, here's a definition that I like personally. Blockchain is an incorruptible shared digital ledger of economic transactions that can be programmed to record not just financial transactions, but virtually everything of value. So it's that's essentially what it is. It's a digital ledger, but it's quite different from your standard ledger, which we've been using for hundreds and hundreds of years, because it's immutable, so it cannot be changed, and it's controlled by a group of distributed network of people, which we're going to talk about, which makes it completely unique, trusted, and transparent, and reinforces the kind of secure foundations of it by its very structure. Going on to that kind of point, and this is fundamental to how blockchain works in a distributed network. So if we look at this slide from left to right, we have a kind of centralized network in terms of how we've traditionally done business. So traditionally businesses have been structured in a very centralized way, and if we want to move money or purchase a significant item like a home, we would do that through a centralized body like a bank, for example. And the internet over time has enabled a more decentralized kind of network of doing business, and now we have this potentially new way of doing business, which is a distributed network, meaning that we carry out business through a network of not just one entity, but through directly a network of potentially thousands of people in that network. And the network has a unique aspect to it, because everyone in the network has access to the information. Every block component part has a record of all the data, which cannot be changed. And an analogy that I like to use is how Google Docs work. If you're familiar with Google Docs, it's quite a useful analogy to understand blockchain. So for example, if I wanted to write a document, usually when I'm writing white papers and material, I send it on a Word document to someone to correct it, and then it's sent back to me, and then I do further corrections, and then it's sent back to the editor or other people that are part of the document. And it's a very time-consuming process where each transaction is me and the other person, not the group. But if we use Google Docs, if you've used Google Docs, everyone within the network can actually go into the document and change it, and everything is recorded. One person you can have different levels of authority to enable different people to actually change it. And in a way, the concept of blockchain is quite similar to those of you who've used Google Docs, because it's like a network, a chain of computers that are part of this network, and each update is kind of verified and then recorded. So blockchain works in a similar way, in that every change is verified and recorded, and it's done by a mining process where the miner has to crack a code. And I'm explaining it in very simple ways, and that once that code is cracked, the new transactions are added as a block to the blockchain, and everyone in the chain has access to all that data. Now, once it's added, it cannot be changed. All that data is recorded, and it's completely transparent to everyone in the network. So this automatically enables unique type of trust. And in a way, it's quite hard to understand this unless you are involved yourself, because it's conceptually very different from anything that we've done business in the past. And this is why I think it needs time to really sink in and to test and learn and understand it. So here's another way of kind of explaining it and trying to simplify the concept of it. So if, for example, I wanted to move money from A to B, the transaction is represented as as a block, hence blockchain. The block is then broadcast to everyone in the party in the network, which could be a public network or a private network, and those in the network approve the transaction. Once the transaction has been mined and cracked by the miner in the group, the block is then added to the chain, which has each block is added to everyone in the chain, So everyone has complete view of it. It's completely transparent, and it has a record of the transaction. So this negates the potential problem of disputes about, whether it did or didn't happen. It's completely transparent to everyone. The money, once it's approved, is then moved from A to B. So it's quite a different way in which transactions are carried out, but immediately it enables a much clearer view of what's going on, and it minimizes any potential problems. So that's blockchain in a nutshell. So what are some of the unique features that this unique way of doing business is enabling? Well, firstly, the exciting thing is it's almost limitless in terms of its application. So if you think about the concept, if you've become familiar, you can start to think about, actually, blockchain has many applications that could resolve big business problems. So, for example, the application obviously from money transfer, but other uses, collecting taxes. The UK government are looking at more transparent ways in which we can collect taxes. And one of the ways it's been being used in money transfer is enabling migrants to send money back to their home or their countries. So in the world right now, only a quarter of the population have access to banking or money transfer facilities. So you have a huge amounts of people, migrants and third world countries, who want to send money back home. So an example of countries using this a lot is the Philippines, where a lot of immigrants are looking to send money back to their families, and where actually banking is quite difficult, and the traditional big bankers like Visa and the credit card companies, there's not really any profit for them to or incentive for them to develop applications for the transfer of small amounts of money. So blockchain provides this amazing, easy and transparent application to send money home. But this isn't the only way. There's numerous ways which I'll talk about now. So it has unlimited applications. Secondly, the transparency feature of blockchain is really, really attractive. And I think this is one of the reasons why the financial services industry as a whole is so excited about this, because it enables complete transparency with money, goods and property. So this is a very attractive feature, I guess, since the financial crash in 2008. The impact of a lack of transparency and the erosion of trust in kind of corporate deals has happened. So there is a thirst and a need for more alternative, transparent ways of doing business. Secondly, it's secure. We are obviously witnessing an increasing problem of hacking and security. So really big brands like LinkedIn and Yahoo and some of the banks, Tesco Bank, we're seeing these incredible breaches of data which are really eroding consumers' trust in the institutions. So this blockchain enables secure transactions, and this reduces the fear of hacking. So by its very nature, it's attractive, because the danger of hacking is only getting worse and getting more of a problem. So the security aspect and feature of it makes it very, very attractive. As I was saying, blockchain enables micropayments. So it's not and hopefully strategically longer term it will mean that there's a better distribution of wealth, as money can move around more easily, not just with the wealthy but the less wealthy. So the internet, as I was saying at the beginning, has been a brilliant platform, but we still have this disparity of rich people and poor. So enabling the movement of wealth from one category to another will hopefully be beneficial to this new industrial age. And blockchain enables poorer third world countries to be more efficient as part of a more centralized global payment infrastructure. So that's really good news in terms of its openness to other communities. Blockchain includes a process for enabling smart contracts, which is all built in. So this allows for, again, verifiable, signed and encrypted process of doing business. So once again, this is a great feature for how blockchain could be compelling for big transactions like housing transfer or the transfer of assets across the network. And lastly, and probably most importantly, blockchain enables, and by its very structural nature, it will enable trust. And that's a fantastic innovation in itself. So we need trust in business, and I think there's a big erosion of trust. We need trust in the institutions of government. There's never been a time in our history where the need for trust is so apparent. So blockchain can reassure people, less fortunate people, that institutions, their money, the movement of their assets will safely arrive at their destinations. So through this consensus distributed structure of blockchain, this enables trust. And those brands that will be using it, obviously if you are by its very nature enabling trust, you will expect there'll be more business coming that way from any institutions that enable blockchain. So I think right now is a fantastic way to see how blockchain can work and see how really realize its trusted feature. So there are the key underlying features of blockchain as a concept. And I just wanted to thirdly, just show you some of the user cases of blockchain and how it's currently being used. So who's using it? How many people? We're still at really early stages with blockchain. Only a very small proportion of global GDP, around 0.025%, according to the World Economic Forum's Global Agenda Council, is held in blockchain. So very small. But in the UK, we're seeing quite a lot of big brands experimenting and testing it. I think only 2 weeks ago, HSBC announced that they were reviewing the results of their blockchain testing. I know that also big brands, Barclays, Bank of Ireland, UBS, Microsoft, IBM and PwC, Bank of Canada are all experimenting in small ways with blockchain and how it can help and enable the movement of assets across the world. One of the key platforms that is enabling this, and is familiar with anyone involved in blockchain, is a platform called the Ethereum, which is a decentralized platform for running smart contracts. And so brands are testing, and this is enabling developers to see how it can work for their businesses. So that's a platform for you to look at after this. So some examples of how blockchain is being used and applied to resolve big business problems. So financial services, we talked about financial services as being a key market given its association with blockchain. So Coins.ph has developed this fantastic low-cost, frictionless payment process through mobile devices, which is enabling instant settlement, but easy access and transfer of money across borders. It's brilliant, and it's easy, and it's low cost. So you can expect people that aren't so tapped into the financial markets and banking and credit cards will be using this, and it's really doing well in less third world countries. So we'll be no doubt be seeing more exploration from financial services. I attended a conversation with one of the members of the Treasury they're looking at blockchain and how it can be enabled to enable trust. So UK is quite ahead. Apologies. The UK is quite far ahead in terms of its exploration of blockchain. In the startup hub in level 39, there's many, I'd say up to about 10 startups who are exploring blockchain, which is really exciting, and some of them are working with some of the bigger brands in the financial services sector and elsewhere. Another category I think that is ripe for blockchain innovation is the property world. So blockchain applications can help record, track and transfer land titles, property deeds, and help ensure the documents are accurate, verifiable and trusted. So a startup in the US, Ubiquity.io, is the first a blockchain secure platform for real estate record keeping. So very exciting. Property, definitely an area for blockchain applications. Healthcare, enormous in terms of, if you think about the UK and the infrastructure of the NHS and the huge amounts of data and the importance of trust and managing that data, it's absolutely critical that the NHS is, exploring platforms like blockchain that will now allow more efficiency, maybe a centralized platform, and more transparency, more trust, so that things can be done quicker and money can be saved, quite simply. So I think healthcare has numerous applications for how it can be used. In this example, blockchains can allow hospitals and other parties in the healthcare value chain to share and access to their networks without compromising data security and integrity. This company is called Gem.co. So another UK example of the application of blockchain technology is a startup called Provenance, which is getting a lot of attention, and it's run by a great entrepreneur called Jesse Baker, who's spoken a lot at the Wired conferences. And this is being used in a different way. So it's empowering, providing transparency in the whole supply chain of retailers. So you, on the website, kind of explains how it provides benefits in terms of the transparency for customers who want to know where the source of their products are coming from. It can then enable the consumer to understand where authentic brands are being made and built. So this is enabling trust, but it's also great for the business owners because blockchain is providing transparency in terms of transactions and price. So we're now seeing blockchain used outside of the kind of financial services sector, and the UK are coming up with some of the most interesting and dynamic applications of blockchain. Another company is Everledger, which is a London-based global startup that is using blockchain for the tracking of high-value assets like diamonds and jewelry and cryptographically secure items. So this again is a great innovation coming out of London. So it's enabling the verification, the source of really high value kind of products. And yeah, this is another kind of great startup that is looking to utilize the full benefits of what blockchain can do. So I'm just going to quickly go back to where we were because I've lost my place. So we've seen in this kind of short webinar that blockchain is immutable way of transferring value across a distributed network, which is essentially a different way we can do business. And I believe that this platform provides an incredible opportunity for brands, for technologists to think of new ways to provide a more transparent, real-time, low-cost, efficient way to move assets across the world. And we are running a workshop on blockchain on the 31st of March. So this is run by ourselves, Let's Learn Digital. We have two brilliant trainers from Level 39 who are currently working with brands to exploit the technology. So they have kind of real user case experiences, and they're also great trainers. So we're running this workshop, and really it's going to be a mix of kind of understanding the theories and the different platforms like Ethereum, and then the afternoon part of it will be exploring, dividing into groups and looking at ways in which we can launch tested experiments on blockchain to see if it can work for our businesses. So really delighted and really excited to welcome anyone who wants to be involved in learning more detail, more in depth about how blockchain can work for your business. This is some information on it, and we're going to do a special offer on the back of this. So if any of you are interested, I'm extending this offer for any of you who want to go on the workshop. So this is a voucher, a £50 off voucher offered to you if you want to come on it. So I'm hoping that we'll have a small group of up to 8 or 10 people, and we've already sold a few tickets. So hopefully with the kind of level of trainers that we have, you'll get a much more in-depth understanding of how blockchain can work in practice, and that's really you will be getting your hands dirty and really understanding the different approaches and platforms that can be used and the results of brands who have already been using it. So I hope you can join us for that. If not, I'd be delighted to explore any ideas or answer any questions that you might have. But just to finish on this kind of quote, which I love, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. This was said by a gentleman called Buckminster Fuller. And I wish you well in your business endeavors, and I hope you found this webinar useful. And thank you very much for listening.